Throughout my 20s, in a very brief nutshell, I have built a creative business, experienced heartbreak, and lost 2 parents. Do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. But I just turned 30 today as I'm releasing this video. And usually around this time of year, your boy likes to get reflective, especially on the big 3-0. So to celebrate, I thought that I would share some life lessons that changed me forever. And if you're in your 20s, just know that this is everything that I wish I would have learned way sooner. Now, the first and probably most important lesson of this whole video is that you're not behind, you're right where you need to be. This is something I really wish I understood way sooner, because I just always felt like I was behind. And this didn't really help me as a creator, or as a business owner. It didn't help to feel always behind. How can you create work that you're proud of when you're always feeling this need to prove yourself, or this need to catch up, or just operating from a scarcity mindset? One thing I've learned is that self-alignment happens when you stop feeling the need to prove yourself. When you make the decision to stop feeling behind and remind yourself that you're right where you need to be. Everything that you experience gives you perspective. Where you are right now is exactly where you need to be, because it's going to help you get to the next stage of your journey. When we start feeling behind, it's because we start comparing ourselves to other people, and that just does nobody any good. Number 2, it's you against yourself always. There were times in my life when I was just getting in my own way, especially when I started this YouTube channel. I was constantly drowning in fear of judgment, constantly overthinking, constantly doubting myself. Choosing to love yourself is a decision, and when you do make that decision, you can learn to step out of your own way and to just authentically express yourself. Number 3, create more than you consume. This is a constant battle that I think all of us struggle with. The infamous doom scroll that always keeps us stuck in our mental traps, constantly comparing ourselves. But when we step out of that and we choose to create, even if we don't know what to create, we just make the act of creating. A professional writer is going to sit down at their desk for an hour, and if they don't write, they don't write. But what they're not going to do is distract themselves. When you create more than you consume, you live a happier life, you feel better, you just feel so much more peaceful about where you're at in life. When you're consuming more than you create, that's the recipe for self-destruction. You start just getting in your head about everything, and it's just not worth it when you think about the life that you really want to live. How is a meaningful life one where you're constantly consuming more than you're creating? Number 4, make sure that you're happy in real life, not just in social media. A lot of us, oh shit, I see a spider right now, but I'm going to let it live. I think we have this tendency to base our validation, base our sense of belonging, our sense of happiness or joy from social media. And I think this is why we're so addicted to the doom scroll. And I'm the first one to admit that I struggle with this as well. However, when you create the life that you're happy with outside of social media, for those of you who are creating content, building a personal brand, whatever you want to call it, this is how you create the content that is impactful, that it actually means something to people, because you're showing, not telling. Like, you're actually living your truth out, and people can feel that. I think you and I can both agree that the moment we hop off of Instagram, how often do we feel better about life? How often do we hop off of social media and actually feel inspired to do things that would add value to our lives? It always, for me personally, seems to suck the energy out of me. It makes me feel like I'm experiencing, good things in the moment, watching that funny video that I wasn't expecting to see, receiving that one comment from one of your friends, whatever it is. But ultimately, it just never adds value to your life. I don't think at the end of our life on our deathbed that we're going to count up all the time that we spend on social media and be like, wow, I'm just so thankful that I did that. Number 5, if you want better relationships, learn to ask better questions. When you show curiosity into someone else's life, genuine curiosity, not like this deceiving tactic to get something out of them, but genuine curiosity, people feel that. People don't remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. Number 6, focus on what you can control. There are a million and one things that we think we can control, but we really can't. And so you have to really ask yourself, whenever times are tough, what can I control in this moment? And just learn to surrender to everything else. Because the more that you try to control everything else, the more misery you cause upon yourself. Number 7, nobody cares as much as you think. Another thing that I really struggled with when I first started expressing myself online, mostly with YouTube, I was just like playing this thought in my mind that everybody thought I was a failure because I was only getting 30 views on a YouTube video. And dude, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Be proud of the fact that you took action regardless of the results. That's going to be the only thing that helps you persist on this creative journey. Number 8, how you do anything is how you do everything. During the most difficult chapters of my 20s, whenever I felt like I wasn't happy with my circumstances, again, I focused on what I could control. Usually that starts with what time I wake up, how clean I keep my apartment, how often I go to the gym, telling people I love them, spreading goodness. Like, these are things that I can control no matter what is happening in life. And when you start focusing on the small things, doing the small things well, usually the big things follow. Number 9, dance with life. When my father passed away, I was 20 years old and I was very young. I would say that I was sleepwalking through life for sure. And this was like my first wake up call. We all, want to make our parents proud, I think, for the most part. And I know that my dad wanted me to do well in life. My dad's the Chinese one. I'm half Chinese. So you could say the shoe kind of fits, but he wasn't like your typical Chinese father. He just wanted his son to do well. And so when you passed, I didn't have that validation that I was doing things well. I didn't know what he was thinking about me. So I put this crazy amount of pressure on myself, what honestly fed the first lesson, which was making me feel so behind in life. I just felt like my dad was disappointed in me. I wasn't living up to his standards. And one thing that I've reflected on about, my dad is that he was, again, not your typical Chinese guy. He was a very talented country dancer, so much so that he would go out on Saturdays and he was known at this country western bar. He was like, literally had trophies, like one of the best country dancers. What that reminded me of was that my dad, while he had high standards, he also enjoyed having fun. He was one to slow down time and appreciate the present moment and to dance. And what happens when you dance? Sometimes you get off balance and you fuck up, right? Like, it's inevitable. It's a part of it. And throughout the moments when I was, quote unquote, fucking up or stumbling, it gave me that grace to just get back up and remind myself that my dad doesn't like condemn me for experiencing failure. Like, if anything, he's probably proud of me for going after it, pushing for something bigger than myself and learning from it. I think he would maybe not be so happy about it if I just decided to quit, right? If I was on the dance floor, I tried, and then I just quit and left. I think that's where the disappointment that I was afraid of would have snuck in. And I eventually want to get it tattooed on my left arm right under this other tattoo, which I'll tell you about at the end of this video. But realize that you're going to stumble through life, and that's okay. Just keep on dancing. Number 10, your body is your temple. Before my 20s, I used to eat so much garbage. I kid you not, when I was in high school, I had probably the worst diet possible. I won't say worst diet possible. I'm going to take that back. But it was pretty horrible. What I would eat is every single day for lunch, I would go through this line that had all the garbage food. I would get 1 bag of hot Cheetos, 3 sugar cookies, and a slushie every single day for lunch. And then when I would get home, to make matters even worse, I would eat 16 pizza rolls, because I remember that was the amount of pizza rolls that would fit on the plates that we had. And I think for breakfast, I probably ate cereal if I ate that. So you can imagine what kind of mental state that would give somebody if I continue to eat that way, right? You are what you eat. And so one of my lessons throughout my 20s is that you got to put good food in your system if you want to live a good life. It's that simple. I think that my eating habits growing up caused me to, or at least like made an impact on me having a leaky gut. I know that's probably TMI, but it's my truth. I have struggled with it throughout my 20s. And going into my 30s, I am taking action on that. I'm not, I used to just feel like this was something I had to live with, and I just had to settle for it. And I just don't think that that's the case. So if you are somebody who struggles with gut issues, then I, encourage you to get in touch with a dietitian. Something that I've recently done is working with this company called Everlong, which is really awesome because you can get basically an online dietitian. So you don't necessarily have to leave your apartment or wherever you stay, and you can get help on your gut health. And this is definitely something to consider if you're also stepping into your 30s, because we have to take care of ourselves. Our bodies are our temples. If you are interested in checking out Everlong, I have a link in the description. You can go check them out. Another great thing about Everlong is that for 95% of people, your insurance will cover the entire cost. There's literally no risk, which, by the way, I'll keep you posted on my progress with my gut health. If you're enjoying this, let me know in the comments. I know that this is a lot, but these are all things that I wish I would have known sooner. Number 11 is pain is your biggest teacher. I used to run from my darkness. I used to run from grief. I didn't want to admit the fact that I lost my father and later down the road, my stepfather, within the lapse of like 5 years. And I wanted to avoid it and act like it just didn't happen. I was robbing myself of the lessons that grief has, that provides us with, right? Living a better life, learning to appreciate your relationships, also being in control of your anger. I think running from my pain caused me to have anger issues in my last relationship. I didn't know where that was coming from, but anytime things would get difficult, I would get very angry. And I don't think that that's healthy for anybody, right? But when we decide to look into our pain, there's so many beautiful lessons to come out of that, and it has been the ultimate teacher. I'm so grateful for, just taking initiative and looking inside and admitting that there is pain inside of me. Especially as a man, this is so important. You got to know your pain if you want to elevate to the next level of life. Number 12, reflecting on your deathbed is the key to living a good life. When you're overthinking things and you're stuck in the middle of the bullshit, it's so easy to get stuck there. One helpful exercise that I constantly come back to is just reflecting on my deathbed. What is that version of me that's on my deathbed that is counting the amount of breaths I have left? What does that version of me have to say about this current situation? All that bullshit will dissipate, and you will find so much perspective the more that you admit the fact that we are mortal. And there's going to be a moment where you're on your deathbed thinking about the life you lived. Number 13, heartbreak will reveal a man to himself. Whenever I experienced heartbreak a year and a half ago, roughly, it was a very difficult chapter. It was different from losing someone, losing my parents, because this person chose to walk out of my life. And that was a really tough pill to swallow. I started going down the rabbit hole of like, what's wrong with me, etc. And again, the more that we decide to look into this darkness, the more that we will learn about ourselves. And that's why, this quote is so impactful. Heartbreak will reveal a man to himself. Going through that chapter of life, that chapter of heartbreak for me, helped me understand the holes in myself, the shadows that I was ignoring. And I'm truly grateful for that heartbreak because it helped me become a man. I really don't think that I was a man beforehand. Heartbreak creates more happiness. Every time you allow your heart to break, it increases your capacity to love. Number 14. I just realized I'm like holding numbers up and I can't hold up the number. It doesn't matter what time of day you water the garden, just water it. I used to beat myself up thinking that I had to start work by a specific time, and if I didn't start work by that time, my whole day was fucked. And that's just such a binary way of thinking. Just know that whatever you have set for a task to do that day, if it's just one thing that you know is going to move the needle forward in whatever project, in your business, whatever your career, it doesn't matter what time of day you do it. Just do it. I used to always think that I had to cut off work at 5 every day in order to live a balanced life. And the truth is nowadays, if I don't get my work done before 5, I'm happy to work after 5, because what matters is watering the garden, at least watering it once throughout the day. Number 15, surround yourself with people that always lift you up. It's easy to feel alone in any area of life, but when you surround yourself with people who see you and understand you and are there to listen whenever times are tough, that is single-handedly the only thing, in my opinion, that will help you persist through hard times. People, we're tribal creatures. We need people in our life, or else we feel isolated. We make worse decisions. We tend to numb ourselves because we feel so disconnected. I truly believe that laughter is the best medicine, and usually laughter comes with having good people in your life. And if you don't like your physical community, I totally get it. I definitely experienced that for a majority of my life. But take initiative, like if you aren't happy with it, then spread goodness online. Seek out people that are like you on Instagram or on YouTube and connect with them. Create your online community. I will say that is an upside to social media. Number 16, achievements alone will not make you happy. There are going to be chapters in life where you feel like you're not achieving anything. And does that mean you have to be unhappy until you get what you want? I personally don't think so, and I'm not going to subscribe to that mentality, because life is short. This is what loss teaches you. Just because you're not achieving anything doesn't mean that there's nothing to be happy about. What really has made me happy throughout my 20s is understanding myself, going back to the pain thing, understanding my shadows, learning, being a lifelong learner and being curious about life. Those are the things that have always brought me happiness. Number 17, attract, don't chase. In relationships, with business, with content, there were definitely times throughout my 20s where I was chasing the next opportunity. I was chasing the next female. I was chasing the next piece of validation. I was chasing the next content idea, just always chasing. When you're always chasing, you actually end up self-sabotaging in a way. When you operate from a place of abundance, your energy is just magnetic. People can feel it through your content. People can feel it in life. People can feel it in romantic relationships. And the key to getting to that magnetic place is to step out of the scarcity mindset, to understand that you're on your own timeline and that you don't need anything right now. You are enough just as you are. That kind of energy is super attractive, and that's what makes you magnetic. If you're not happy with your circumstances or your career or your relationships, look inward. Focus on you. Focus on understanding yourself, and just do that. Don't yearn for anything. Don't feel like you don't have enough. Don't feel like your life is meaningless if you don't have anybody in your life. Like, these are things that keep you the opposite of magnetic. Number 18, don't be afraid to do things alone. There was a time where I didn't want to do shit alone, especially in public. And I think going through heartbreak helped me break out of that, because I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to do shit by myself and whatever. And I remember one of the first few nights that I was single, I ended up going to a music show by myself. And it was an interesting experience. I think the most interesting thing about it was just feeling like I don't need somebody else to do something. I think that was very empowering. And I know that it can be really fucking awkward or feel socially like uncomfortable. But again, nobody cares as much as you think they do. And if you just go into these things with curiosity, you never know what the fuck will happen. Just 4 months ago, 4 months ago, I was in San Diego for a client project, and my client was performing at a music festival on the second day. But on day one, he was like, hey, I can get you a ticket if you want to go. I'm not going to go, but you can go. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go. Like, let's do this. And so I go to this festival by myself in San Diego. Really don't know anybody. It's not even like where I live. And I'm just walking around. I rushed to this one stage to see this artist named Fullamore, who I had recently found. And I'm just walking around until, something sticks, until like a conversation just naturally takes place or something. And eventually, after about 5-10 minutes, I walk around and there's this guy with this flat billed hat who's got this like beautiful LED lights on it. And I was like, dude, dope hat. Just started shooting the shit. And about 5 minutes into the conversation, he was like, hey, have you met my friend KJ? And I was like, oh, no. And I turned around. There's this like tall dude just goofing off. And I introduced myself, asked him where he was from. And lo and behold, he said Austin, Texas. And I was like, shut the fuck up. No way. You from Austin, Texas? And I was like, holy fuck. Like, how the fuck did I run into somebody from Austin within 10 minutes of being at this stage? Wild. And that guy has grown to be one of my best friends over the last couple months. And actually, oddly enough, his birthday is 4 days apart from mine. So today's July 8th. His birthday is July 12th. And we were born in the same year. Like, what are the odds of that? I would have never experienced this weird synchronicity had I never just leaned into doing things alone. And you just never know what will come out of it. So I encourage everyone to do things alone because you just might meet your best friend. Number 19, count to 3, then do the thing that scares you. It's so easy to start overthinking, especially, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds in, and it's so easy to talk yourself out of things. Just going back to the last thing I was talking about, I could have robbed myself of a beautiful relationship. And not only that, but since me and KJ have started hanging out, we've built this like really awesome community here in Austin where I've met 20, 30 more people that I can genuinely call like really close friends. The reason why you want to count to 3 and then just do the thing that scares you is because that's where you there's no reward without risk. And usually in those moments when we feel risky, it's full of fear. But the more you lean into it, the more you just say, fuck it, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go approach that girl. I'm going to talk to her. The more you build confidence and the more you step out of this overthinking mentality that just keeps you stuck in all areas of life. Number 20, solitude breeds creativity. When you're constantly doom scrolling and filling your mind with noise, there is no capacity for creativity at all. This is why I believe it's so important to give yourself quality time in the morning to really set aside distractions, to put limitations on social media or texting or notifications in general until you've already fulfilled your creative cup. The object isn't to make art. It's to be in that wonderful state which makes art inevitable. Number 21, good things shouldn't always be easy. And also, good things take time. Whatever business idea you have, whatever career path you choose to take, whatever relationship that you see yourself being within throughout your entire life, it's going to take time and it's not always going to be easy. Expecting things to be easy is what makes things harder than it is. Number 22, sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. When we're feeling so much pressure from life, I think we feel like it's not right in the moment to just take a step back, to give space, to slow down. But it's through those moments where you decide to slow down and reflect on life that you learn so much on life. This is why I really love to slow down and reflect whenever my birthday comes around. Because without this taking a step back and slowing down, how do we gain perspective? How do we know if we're operating the way that we truly want to? How do we create space for growth if we don't slow down every now and then? Number 23, peace does not exist without tension. The more that you can lean into the discomfort, the more that you're going to experience growth. And the more that you practice leaning into the tension, making the uncomfortable comfortable, this is where peace comes because you know that you're working towards a bigger goal. You're working towards something bigger than yourself. You don't find peace by having no tension. You find peace by enjoying the tension, welcoming the tension, and looking forward to the tension. Number 24, there's no such thing as a perfect plan. I'm not saying to not plan at all, but don't let the idea of a perfect plan keep you from taking action. Inaction will always keep you stuck. That's why I have so many books. I would just sit there and read and like plan out what I was going to do, but I never took action until I realized that taking action is what reveals all the answers that I'm looking for. Number 25, comparing yourself to others is a waste of time. Look, we're all on different timelines. You're not supposed to have the exact same timeline as somebody else. Everything happens for you, not to you. And everything that is happening, your goal is to discover what the lesson is. Because whatever those lessons are, is what helps you make the impact that you were born to make. It's what gives you purpose. Without pain, there is no purpose. Because if life was just, easygoing all the time, rainbows and butterflies, I think it'd be really easy to lose the meaning of life. Like, I think there's something beautiful about the struggle. I'm sure you've heard stories about the billionaire sons who've just fell into drug addiction because they didn't know what else to do with their life. They felt meaningless. They wanted to numb the pain of existence. You're not behind. You're right where you need to be. Number 26, naysayers are not a bug. They're a feature of growth. Celebrate it all. It's so easy to get in your head whenever you get that one bad comment. But if you're getting a bad negative comment, that means that you're standing for something powerful, and that you're really, like, you shouldn't make everybody happy. I don't think that that's necessarily possible. And so when people leave bad comments, that's a sign of good for most things. Like, obviously this can be taken a million ways, but whenever you are finally getting to that next level, for example, in your content, you're going to have naysayers, and that's completely okay. You actually want naysayers because it means that you're standing for something powerful, and that you're standing for something that is meaningful. You're going to piss some people off. It's okay. Number 27, fulfillment equals self-growth plus giving. I heard this on a podcast once with Ed Milet, and it really impacted me, because if you just give, and you neglect yourself, it is hard for you to feel fulfilled in life. And the same is true for the other way around. If you just focus on yourself, you just build the $1 billion company, but you don't spread goodness, and you don't spread the love, you don't help other people, then it's also equally possible to feel unfulfilled. The sweet spot is self-growth, looking inward, building something, sharing those lessons with other people, doing what you can to impact the world, to make the world a better place. Number 28, learn how to design your environment. When it's time to focus, leave your phone in another room. It's so simple, but I wish I actively practiced this so much sooner throughout my 20s, because that phone will keep you so distracted if you let it. And it's not necessarily that you're addicted to it. And every single case, I'll say that it's just the compulsion to tap the phone to see the notifications because it's in your environment. I leave my phone in the restroom for at least the first hour of my day, and even just that alone has made such an beautiful impact on my creativity, my progress, my mental health, and my well-being. Out of sight, out of mind. When you're saying no to your phone, you're saying yes to yourself. And that kind of holds true with a lot of things, not just your phone. So I guess a little side point here is to learn when to say no. Number 29, storytelling is what brings people together. My stepdad was one of the best storytellers I'd ever met to this day. His ability to take you on a journey with a story and make you laugh, make you want to cry, make you change your perspective on life. It really, really, really taught me the power of storytelling. And so I guess the takeaway here is mostly for us creators, which is that don't feel like you don't have a story to tell. It doesn't need to be the perfect story, but start sharing your story, because that's how we bring people together. This is how we make an impact. This is how we feel a sense of purpose in life, and we're able to rally troops on our mission. It's through storytelling. We're storytelling creatures. This is how our ancestors were able to build tribes, to protect each other. If you want to make a deep impact in life, if you want to rally people together and build a community, it's through sharing your story. And last but not least, number 30 is in memory of my dad, which is what I have tattooed on my arm in Chinese, translated by my grandmother. And it stands for always shoot true. There are going to be moments throughout your life, throughout your 20s, where you're going to have the flashy object syndrome, and you're going to be chasing, what you feel like society wants you to do, or what's going to impress other people and increase your status. But you have to know what is authentically true to you. Know what matters to you. Reflect on your childhood. Reflect on what matters what will matter in the future on your deathbed, and just always shoot true. My dad was a hunter, and so, this was kind of like a double meaning philosophy for him, like obviously like shooting a bow and arrow or shooting a gun. But it always stuck with me because he had it in his email signature, and me and my sister both have this tatted on her. She has it on her shoulder back here, and it just serves as a beautiful reminder to always shoot true to myself. We don't need more copycats in life at all. We need more people who are willing to stand for something that they believe in, that will make the world a better place, that will shift perspectives and just help people live better lives, because we only have one go at this thing called life. It's up to us to make the decision to make the most of it, and to just remind ourselves what is true and what matters. No matter who you are, where you're from, what you've experienced, each and every one of us has a beautiful story to tell. And I encourage you to do that in whatever way makes sense to you, whatever feels true to you. The more that we express ourselves, the less we feel depressed. It's literally the opposite of each other: express, depress. I think that's just where we finally connect with other people on a deep level, on a meaningful level. This world would be a better place if we had more people who were willing to share their story, to just spread goodness. I think that's all that I want from this YouTube channel, and I'll die a happy man just knowing that I encouraged other people to live a life true to themselves and to share their story, and to just lean into the darkness and understand that pain is a part of life. That's what gives us all the beautiful lessons that make our lives meaningful. Thank you so much for getting this far in the video, because I know this is a long one, but this felt good to just get off my chest, and I hope you found some value from it. If you did, let me know in the comments what you liked most, or if you want me to expand on any of these ideas. And if you want to connect on Instagram, I'd love to start a chat with you. My Instagram handle is @AshtonTJoe, or you can just find it in the description. Thank you so much for your support, and we're back on YouTube. I took a little break there, but we back, baby. All right, love you. Peace.